Is it me or people are going more and more after this lone wolf epidemic? See, this whole pseudo movement is kind of becoming more or less an epidemic. When people simply bite the bait way too much, there is always the question, is it something fishy behind it or not? See, the lone wolf epidemic is still part of the same woke culture epidemic. Why would some people even consider this? Well, the very simple thing is, in this sick society, loneliness is the best way through which you can be controlled. If you are taught to be alone, if you are taught to crave loneliness, well, it's only gonna be boosted by the fact that, well, a lot of the people's quality is, well, very low nonetheless. So you might as well go your very own way. But when you want to go your own way, the problem is it's easy to fall for the traps of such a design. Because if you are someone who is genuinely empathic, you will know how much, or you should know how much to be alone and how much to spend time with others. Because just being a lone wolf will not lead you too much into a good direction. Because the moment you will get enough hurt, and you will get hurt, well, you will most likely retreat within your comfort zone and you'll probably give up almost anything that you wanted to follow. See, lone wolves don't reach anywhere far usually. There may be a few exceptions, but don't take the exceptions as a new rule on its own. You never know if you're gonna have those people's luck, because luck is something that you can design for yourself, but you never know the things that will be coming for you in your life. Those people maybe had it easy, maybe had it rough, but in the end, you have to understand, even in the wilderness, when you look at the lone wolf will die of starvation sooner or later. Maybe they will find prey for a while, but very few will make it, you know, very few will make it far. And those will most likely be special. When those will be coming back into their wolf society, obviously they will be strong and imposing, and others will follow. Because, much weaker individuals, they will always find strength in following others. Because in the end, whether you are strong or weak, it doesn't matter much. With others, it is always much better. You can't call yourself, but we are a group of lone wolves. You either work in a pack or you don't. See, there are groups of people that function together. They don't talk too much. Maybe they talk once a week. But they still know what they have to do and they work their own things. Such people are, for example, business people, highly successful people. They don't have too much time for their friends. Maybe they will leave sometime in the weekend or in the such. They'll probably talk once in a week or 2 weeks and the such, but they will, be focused on their own point because growth is the only thing that would matter to someone who's successful. Just because you struck some success, it doesn't mean that you will necessarily stay successful. Don't forget, competition is always fierce even if there are resources. But still, we live in a world where kind of almost domain that you may think of is already saturated. And with the apparition of AI, a lot of people will fail because they haven't learned something to make themselves unique. Many artists said, well, machines will never be able to draw just like us humans. Now you have machines doing AI work. Maybe it's not perfect, but you press one button and in 15 to 30 seconds, you will get a picture. Maybe it's not perfect, obviously. Maybe a human artist will make you a much better one. But by the time a human artist will finish their masterpiece, well, a machine will have done probably thousands of such pictures. Should you have the credits for those websites that you may use? But in the end, out of those thousands of pictures that you can make until a real human does their masterwork, yes, well, out of those, let's say hundreds, probably even thousands of pictures, a few of those will be masterpieces as well. And it only takes a few zeros and ones to be, correlated according to a very thorough algorithm, and well, voila, that's what you get. See, in life, you have to understand being a lone wolf. It is important to stay away from toxic people. It is important to have great boundaries. But no one reaches, a certain level of success in life by being alone. Being alone means you don't have anyone to direct you. It's easy to fall for the trap that you're some kind of god, or you know it best because if no one else can tell you that you have derailed from your path, well, you'll not have any guidance. You will just go blindly. Sooner or later, you will derail, and well, you never know what you will become. Once you are well to used to your own way, to your own energy, to being whatever you think you are, it is easy to have your own behavior changed in such a way, in a subtle way, let's say, and you will think it's always been like that. Yes, if you are too comfortable, this is one of the bigger traps. When we think about going successful, you will have to realize that you are never going to be a lone wolf. Maybe you're gonna work together, yes, with other people from a distance, but you're not gonna communicate much with those. But you're still not gonna be a lone wolf. See, even the lone wolf in nature is not much of a loner, yes, because they have to be in tune with nature to survive. Life means consumerism for us humans. But in the end, if you look at it realistically, life means consuming. You will always need to consume more than you can put out. When you eat, you're gonna shit much less than you ate. When you drink, you're gonna piss much less than you drank. When you create something, well, you're gonna use a lot of resources. The outcome is not gonna be necessarily the sum of those resources, because some of the resources obviously may be simply lost through the process. Yes, they will be lost through the process. So demands will most likely be high, but you have to meet a part of it at least so that you can survive. Don't forget that consumerism is important in this sick society, but consuming is also important because everything that you want to create, all the businesses that you'll have to create, will also cause you some loss of money. You'll have to supplement for that if you want to keep successful. That money will not come from nowhere. That is why you're never gonna be a lone wolf. That is nothing else but the same woke agenda to keep humans away one from the other, hoping that the pavement that the pandemic designed, that of staying away from people for the sake of your own health, worked and will push the younglings even further into this idea of hating one another. Because in the end, people never cared about their health. They just did all the freaking shit in their life. They did all the possible self destructive behaviors. And then in the pandemic, suddenly they apparently cared for their health. They would run away one from the other. And for what? It was nothing else but a charade. And hopefully people have woken up to that. This new level of the lone wolf is just another idea to keep people away from dating, to keep people away from doing families and from having children, and from realizing that man needs woman and woman needs men. And these necessities go far beyond the idea of sex. Just that, well, life can be lived with just sex and the such, but life will always crave more than just that. If you want to become successful, well, sex may be guiding you to a certain direction, but if you want to be truly successful, first and foremost, you will need to keep yourself fresh. You will need to keep yourself pure in a way, because mingling, or whatever you call it, getting yourself entangled with other people's problems, sorrows, misaccomplishments, and that, well, will lead you to your graveyard sooner than you may think. Because you've got enough misery in your life. Do you want to have to handle the misery of other hundreds of people you're gonna, sleep with? If you want to become successful, you also have to realize you're never gonna be a lone wolf. Maybe you're doing your own business, so you're no longer feeling that you're tied to the fact that, you'd be working in a job. When you work in a job, things are a bit more secure because, well, you may have shitty coworkers, but you have somewhat of a fixed salary, some bonuses, and, well, things seem a bit more secure than having to be the provider themselves. Sometimes you can't provide that much and money will be less. Sometimes you can over provide and money will be plentiful. And this cycle goes on and on. So you have to understand, whether you are a so-called lone wolf or not, you will always be bound to this sick society more or less. And whatever is decided in here, whether you're successful or not, there will always be an impact. Whether you can handle it or not, that depends on your inner strengths. The inner strengths can come from both being successful along people, the right people, or being a lone wolf. Because when you're a lone wolf, it's easy to get bullied. It's either to get fake campaigns against you, when there are other people, much bigger people, influencers and the such, that you can impress and, get them to probably not work for you or support you much, but at least show them that you're some good business. Maybe one of those will jump for you in case things go wrong. Because don't forget, whether you're a lone wolf or successful among people, or a successful lone wolf, although that's kind of, fuzzy to speak about it. Well, the point is, in the end, people can help you. Yes, it's hard to find the right people, but it's not impossible. You'll always be dependent on the economy because money runs the world. And whether you prefer not to talk much to other people, if you want to hit 6 or 7 digits in income, you will have to find true people. You will have to find yourself a mentor, probably even three. Because, well, you may find, let's say, something that you love doing. And once you love doing something and you also do it, you will not feel that depressed and tired that you will usually feel when you do something that you don't like, right? So when you just follow this idea, this dream of yours in life, well, the point is very simple. You will find some people to give to, but if you don't have some bigger people to recommend you, well, just being a lone wolf means you're gonna be somewhere at the bottom in the end. Finding some good alliances is always a good thing. And those kind of presume that you're not gonna be much of a lone wolf. A lone wolf will most likely die of starvation because wolves are made to hunt together. Yes? And in this world of mass production needs a huge number of people. When you create a big business, maybe you're a lonely CEO, but you have given the possibility to work to maybe thousands, probably even millions of people. You are still dependent on this because those people having a job, they will work for your company and your company will thrive. So don't call yourself too much of a lone wolf. A balance in between communicating with people and staying away from the toxic ones is always needed, is always critical actually, because you're a social being. You may despise talking with other people, but the more lonely you will be, you don't want to go down that path. I assure you of that. Loneliness can do things to you, even if you are the stronger, the most stable person, mentally and psychologically, it will still do you a lot of things. And most surprising, the more stable you are psychologically, especially, the easier it is to break. It only needs one little bit. It doesn't have to be a calamity to break you. It can be just a teeny beeny thing that can simply break you. Because psychic stability is not necessarily about being firm. It's about being capable to, be just like the trees. Those who can bend well in case of a storm. Those are the ones who will survive. Not the ones that are firm because those will break easily. There are a lot of nuances to this, but the point is, a lone wolf can do a lot of things, but you can do way more things with the right people around. Seek and you will find. Yes, a lot of people will turn their backs on you. A lot of people may simply, you know, um, disappoint you. Disappointment only occurs when you expect things from people. Don't bother with expectations from them. Nobody is built specifically for you. Not even robots are built specifically for you. And in the end, don't forget, even a robot is specifically built for you. They don't have an awareness. Maybe they have a good algorithm that they will function around, but they won't have much adaptability in the end. Their adaptability will be based on machine learning, but that has its limitations as well. So in the end, remember that in a group it is or should be much better, much easier. It doesn't matter how many times people betray you. When you look at the truly successful people, billionaires or even millionaires, if you look at them, you will see none of them had it easy. Many of those flunked even, school, and that they were the misfits in this sick society because they were built different. They weren't built to just follow orders around. If you find a mentor, follow their guidance because a mentor is someone who will truly care for what you have. You'll have to understand, you'll have to provide a lot of free stuff in the beginning in order to impress people. Don't just expect that you'll make some good stuff, you'll sell it for big bucks, and then you're just gonna sit back and relax. If you're on the path of success, first and foremost, your environment must be the one that will support you. If you work in a toxic environment, you're not going to become too successful because your environment will be supporting that part of your unconsciousness, which was programmed, which also has the programming of your forefathers, that you must pull yourself down. Yes? So hopefully this video raised a bit of awareness. You're appreciated, take care, enjoy life, and this being said, Ferenc Board signing out.